Welcome to Dreamy Tales, a place where gentle, relaxing stories will guide you into a deep sleep. On this channel, we'll be sharing soothing stories to help you unwind and forget the worries of the day. If you enjoy these peaceful moments, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you won't miss any of our bedtime tales. Let's create a space of relaxation together each night. Now, before we dive into tonight's story, let's take a few moments to relax your body and mind. Find a comfortable spot to sit or lie down. Gently close your eyes and take a deep breath. Inhale slowly, feeling the fresh air filling your lungs, and slowly exhale, letting the tension in your body gradually melt away. Repeat this 3 more times. With each breath, feel yourself becoming more relaxed and ready to enter the magical world of stories. Now, loosen your shoulders, gently massage your face, and release any remaining tension. Pay attention to any areas in your body that still feel tight, maybe in your neck, back, or legs, and gently let them relax. Next, we'll do a short guided visualization. Imagine yourself in a beautiful garden under the night sky, with the soft moonlight shining down. You can hear the rustling of leaves in the breeze, the sound of water flowing gently in the distance. Feel the cool breeze brushing against your face. Now that your body and mind are relaxed, let's step into tonight's story. But before we begin, remind yourself that you deserve these moments of relaxation, and let go of all worries as you listen to each word. And now, as you are fully relaxed, let's begin our journey into tonight's tale. Allow my words to guide you into a world of dreams and serenity. Relax and listen slowly. The tide was gradually encroaching upon the shore, its subtle, rhythmic waves advancing in a hushed, almost meditative cadence. Hercules stood alone on the sandy beach, his gaze fixed upon the relentless dance of the sea. As he watched the waves lap gently at the shore, memories of another beach and a different dusk washed over him. Not too long ago, he had wandered along the sunlit coast of Crete at sunset, guiding the legendary bull back to the awaiting ship amidst hues of orange and pink. Now, however, Hercules found himself on a beach far removed from Crete's familiar sands. This was the rugged coastline of Thrace, situated to the northeast of Greece. After an arduous journey across the vast expanse of the Aegean Sea, Hercules had spent several days traversing the land on horseback, finally reaching the serene shores of the Black Sea. As dusk settled over Thrace, he stretched his legs on the tranquil beach, his faithful horse Ianthi trotting gracefully beside him. Hercules had sorely missed Ianthi during his last adventure, and his heart swelled with relief to have her companionship once more. Her presence was a source of comfort and strength, a reminder of the unwavering loyalty that bonded them. Ianthi moved with deliberate slowness, her hooves sinking softly into the warm sand, punctuated by occasional gentle snorts and contented whinnies. Hercules affectionately patted her sturdy neck, pondering the role she might play in the tasks that lay ahead, particularly this one, which involved horses. This mission was clear and formidable. The king had entrusted Hercules with the task of retrieving the wild horses of Diomedes. Diomedes, a formidable ruler of this Thracian region, was renowned for maintaining an enclosure of untamed horses near his opulent palace. These creatures were the epitome of wildness, swift as the wind and untamable as the ocean stirred by Poseidon's mighty storms. Their wild nature made them both captivating and challenging to domesticate. Hercules' cousin, King Eurystheus, had been amassing an impressive collection of exotic animals, complementing the king's own acquisitions of a colossal ball and a legendary bull. Now, the king's ambitions had set their sights on Diomedes' elusive horses. Thus, Hercules was embarking on his 8th monumental task, to journey to Thrace, capture Diomedes' horses, and return them to the king. The journey posed significant challenges. The trek to and from Thrace was long and arduous, but at this moment, Hercules was singularly focused on the mission at hand, figuring out how to locate and capture the horses without arousing suspicion. He had a rough idea of their location. The palace of Diomedes loomed in the distance, its roof shimmering with shades of pink and gold under the fading sunlight. The enclosure housing the horses was believed to be situated behind the palace, nestled among the dense forest that bordered the estate. Directly approaching the palace was out of the question. It would undoubtedly draw attention and likely result in failure. Instead, Hercules contemplated an alternative route through the surrounding woodland, hoping to find the boundary between the forest and the horses' enclosure. Such a path would offer the cover of darkness once night fully descended, providing the stealth necessary for a successful mission. Even if he couldn't capture the horses immediately, he could at least observe them and better understand their behavior. Hercules decided it was time to make his move. Mounting Ianthi, he felt a surge of determination. "Come on, girl," he whispered, stroking her neck gently. Ianthi responded with a soft whinny, understanding the command without the need for words. Together, they moved away from the shoreline, heading toward the dense cluster of trees that lined the beach. The pines stood tall and imposing against the backdrop of the pink-tinged sky, their dark silhouettes casting long shadows on the sand. Entering the forest felt like stepping into an entirely different realm. The air grew cooler and quieter, enveloped in a dreamlike stillness. The persistent sea breeze was now replaced by the gentle rustling of leaves and the occasional chirp of insects. To an outsider, the woods might seem eerie as night deepened, but Hercules felt a profound sense of belonging among the trees. His childhood had been spent exploring these very woods, often venturing out until the stars claimed the sky. It was during those magical twilight hours that Hercules had conquered his fear of the dark, discovering that night held no real threat. His eyes had adapted to the dim light, and the moon had become his steadfast companion, guiding him through the shadows. With each passing moment, Hercules grew more attuned to his surroundings. The forest seemed to embrace him, its quiet symphony of sounds becoming a soothing backdrop to his thoughts. The subtle footsteps of his hooves on the soft earth, the rhythmic breathing of Ianthi, and the distant call of nocturnal birds melded into a harmonious melody that steadied his resolve. As they ventured deeper, the path through the woods became less defined, overgrown with underbrush and framed by towering trees. The moonlight filtered through the dense canopy, casting silvery beams that danced upon the forest floor. It was a mesmerizing sight, one that made the journey feel both timeless and enchanted. Hercules couldn't help but marvel at the beauty of the night, the interplay of light and shadow creating an ever-changing landscape. Suddenly, the tranquility was broken by the distant sound of drumming and melodic singing. Hercules paused, listening intently. The rhythmic beats of drums and the harmonious voices of women singing floated through the trees, weaving a tapestry of sound that was both alluring and mysterious. He questioned himself for a moment, wondering if he was imagining things, but the sounds grew louder, more distinct, confirming their presence. Recalling the legends he had heard, Hercules realized that he was witnessing a Dionysian ritual. The tribe that inhabited this part of Thrace was known to revere Dionysus, the god of wine, and his followers often conducted their worship outdoors under the cover of night, performing enigmatic and spirited rituals. This explained the music and the festive atmosphere emanating from the clearing ahead. Hercules signaled to Ianthi to slow her pace, his instincts telling him to tread carefully. He didn't want to disrupt the sacred ceremony or risk drawing unwanted attention. Yet, curiosity tugged at him, urging him to learn more about this clandestine gathering. The sounds guided him toward a luminous clearing where torchlight illuminated the festivities. Emerging from the darkness, Hercules beheld a mesmerizing sight. Before him lay a well-concealed village, its thatched huts and tents nestled harmoniously among the undergrowth and towering trees. In the center of this hidden settlement was an open area aglow with the warm light of a bonfire. The flames danced and sparked, their light reflecting off the faces of the jubilant villagers who had gathered to celebrate. The clearing was alive with vibrant energy. Couples danced and laughed, their movements fluid and exuberant, as if trying to keep pace with the lively drum beats. Tables laden with an abundance of food, cascades of nuts, platters of bread and cheese, were arranged on a sturdy board supported by tree stumps. The tantalizing aroma of roasting meat wafted through the air, emanating from a spit roasting over the fire, where succulent morsels turned slowly, absorbing the smoky flavors. Atop a nearby rock, a tall man with a flowing beard stood proudly, raising his earthenware mug to call the crowd to attention. "Raise your glasses in a toast to the bride and groom," he declared, his voice ringing clear over the festivities. The crowd responded with enthusiastic cheers, their spirits lifted by the joyous proclamation. A graceful maid in a stunning blue-lined gown stepped forward from among the dancers, executing a dramatic curtsy. She delicately adjusted a crown of daisies perched upon her head, ensuring it remained perfectly in place. The groom, one of the musicians, paused his harp playing and rose from his seat, spreading his arms wide in a gesture of celebration. Another man, perhaps a friend or fellow reveler, exclaimed, "Here's to Thomas and his lovely Eleanor." The crowd erupted in applause, and you found yourself clapping along quietly, swept up in the infectious joy of the moment. A kindly-looking woman in homespun attire approached you, her hand extended in a warm gesture. "Come join us," she beckoned with a smile. "Take a moment to enjoy some refreshment and share in our celebration." Overwhelmed by your good fortune, you gladly accepted her invitation, following her to the fireside where she poured a steaming beverage into a mug and handed it to you. As you lifted the drink to your lips, the musicians launched into a lively tune, their instruments harmonizing perfectly. The dancers resumed their spirited movements, spinning and twirling as spring blossoms drifted gently down around them, carpeting the forest floor with their delicate petals. Your reverie was momentarily interrupted by the sound of a man's voice behind you. "Good evening, stranger," he said with a friendly tone. You turned to see a robust, bearded man holding a pint of his own, dressed in simple, rustic clothing, his cap adorned with a feather. He smiled warmly and continued, "Do you have any coin? If so, we'd be grateful if you could share some to help the less fortunate. If not, you're still welcome to join our fire. There's plenty of food and drink to go around." With a smile, you reached into your pocket and turned it inside out, revealing it to be empty. The man grinned broadly and patted you gently on the back. "Ah, "Then have a seat and join us at this merry wedding feast," he invited. Moving to a nearby log that served as a bench, he took a seat at one end, and you settled yourself at the other. A portly man in a brown robe soon arrived, mug in hand. Your host introduced him as Tuck, and revealed his own name was Robin. The man in the robe nodded amiably, raising his mug in greeting before seating himself opposite you by the fire. Robin turned to you, gesturing toward his companion. "We just met this fine fellow today, without whom the wedding couldn't have taken place. Isn't that right, Tuck?" he asked. Tuck chuckled, slapping his knee in amusement. "Indeed, it has been a most eventful afternoon," Robin continued, the slanting beams of the setting sun casting a golden glow through the trees behind him. "I'd be happy to share the story if you have the time." You nodded eagerly, sensing an opportunity to hear a captivating tale. With the flickering firelight and the gentle sounds of the celebration surrounding you, Robin began his narrative. "My companions and I were out today, hoping to catch some wealthy noblemen traveling the road," Robin started, a mischievous twinkle in his eye. "After all, they never mind parting with their coins to help the poor when asked kindly." He winked, and you couldn't help but laugh at his playful confidence. "As we journeyed along, we encountered a young man named Alan," he continued, pointing toward the harpist you recalled as the groom. "He was utterly distraught, weeping by the roadside. We inquired about the source of his sorrow, and he confided that his true love was to be married that very day to a wealthy old knight arranged by her father. There was no hope of stopping the wedding." Robin's expression turned comically shocked, eliciting another laugh from you. This seemed a grave injustice, so we pledged to intervene, interrupt the wedding, and unite Alan with his beloved maiden instead. However, we faced a dilemma. We needed a priest to officiate the ceremony, as the corrupt bishop summoned by the rich knight wouldn't be agreeable. He paused, drawing you further into the tale. "Where could we find such an officiant? One of my men suggested a good friar lived just across the river. It seemed a plausible solution, so we set out to locate this pious man and hasten to the church." As we approached the riverbank, voices and singing drew our attention. Creeping closer, who did I see but this disreputable fellow? Robin nodded derisively at Tuck, who leaned back, laughing and slapping his knee. He was eating a large slice of cold pie in one hand and a hefty mug of ale in the other, conversing in two different voices. It was quite the spectacle. You laughed quietly, picturing the scene. "I couldn't resist joining in the jest," Robin admitted. As he was offering pie with his left hand and ale with his right, I playfully mimicked his mannerisms. This startled him, and he accused me of spying. Quickly, I revealed our true purpose and inquired about the friar's whereabouts. He responded rather rudely, telling me I'd have to find out for myself. Not one to be deterred, I asked if he could carry me across the river on his back so I could search without getting my clothes wet. After some contemplation, he agreed, seeing it as the Christian thing to do, and even offered to carry my sword. Robin paused, taking a deep sip from his mug. He did carry me across and set me down on the dry bank. However, when I requested my sword, he refused, insisting that I carry him back to retrieve it. Reluctantly, I agreed, but midway across, fatigue set in, and I decided to drop him. Both men laughed uproariously at this point. Naturally, he took offense, and our quarterstaffs were drawn for a fight, Robin explained. A fierce battle ensued. I was surprised by Tuck's skill and agility. In the end, we were both soaked and exhausted, agreeing it was a draw. Thus, we became friends. Robin pointed at Tuck with his elbow and added, Tuck here admitted he was the friar we were seeking. Upon hearing our mission, he agreed to accompany us and marry young Alan and his beloved. The two men grinned and took another sip from their mugs as you watched the bonfire's flames dance higher, casting a warm glow over the clearing. The approach of twilight only seemed to heighten the festivity, with more platters of food appearing and the music intensifying in tempo. Nodding in silent satisfaction, Robin and Tuck turned their attention back to you, inviting you to hear about what transpired at the church. You do want to hear the next part, Robin said, his eyes twinkling. We hurried to the village church just in time for young Margaret's wedding to the wealthy knight. Alan doubted we could stop it, believing there was nothing we could do to sway her father, but I assured him that Robin Hood never loses his battles, and that we would find a way. The pews were packed with guests, all there to witness the union. The bridegroom was an elderly, pompous man, and although Margaret's father was a simple tradesman, it was clear why he sought a wealthy match for his daughter. Margaret was one of the most beautiful maidens I had ever seen. Robin paused, sharing a knowing smile with Tuck as he glanced at a dancing woman in a blue dress. We burst through the church doors, causing quite the commotion, proclaiming that the wedding must be stopped because Margaret's true love, Alan, was present. Her father was livid, demanding we leave immediately. Swords were drawn and a heated exchange ensued. Robin stood dramatically, spreading his arms wide. Just then, the old knight intervened, declaring he had no desire to marry someone who did not love him, deeming it beneath him to force Margaret into this marriage. Furious, the Sheriff of Nottingham, witnessing the scene, tried to maintain order but was utterly confounded by our boldness. Both men laughed heartily at the memory, their camaraderie evident. At this point, I offered her father a choice. Let Margaret marry Alan with our blessing and accept a bag of gold coins as compensation, or refuse our help and deny Alan his chance at happiness. He couldn't accept both, and the friar's intervention tipped the scales in our favor. The friar, whose real name is Friar Tuck, declared his support for our cause, allowing us to officiate the marriage. Alan and Margaret were united in holy matrimony, and the crowd erupted in cheers. And here we are, celebrating their joyous union. Robin and Tuck shared a hearty laugh, their bond strengthened by shared adventures. But let me tell you about how we outsmarted the sheriff at his own archery competition, Robin whispered conspiratorially, catching your attention. Friar Tuck, intrigued by the prospect of another tale, listened intently as Robin continued. Word of our exploits has spread far and wide, Robin began. We are humble men who revere King Richard, always in his service. While the king battles abroad, the nobles have neglected their duties, oppressing the people instead. When we encounter these wealthy individuals on the road, we treat them fairly, inviting them to our fireside feast before politely requesting 2/3 of their wealth. It's only fair that we redistribute their riches to the villagers in need. You nodded in agreement, understanding the righteousness of their cause. Robin continued. The Sheriff of Nottingham, growing tired of our highway activities and the people's support for us, devised a cunning trap. A grand archery competition with a hefty prize, knowing Robin Hood was rumored to be the finest archer in the land. He chuckled, recalling the event. We disguised ourselves as religious men, beggars, and other inconspicuous figures to blend in. On the day of the contest, the town was abuzz with excitement. Lords and ladies filled the stands, enjoying the festivities, while common folk mingled among striped tents and colorful pennants fluttering in the breeze. As we took our places, the sheriff watched closely, determined to unmask us. Most contestants were well known, leaving only 2 unknown archers in the competition. One was too short to be Robin Hood, and the other, a man in tatters with a brown beard and an eye patch, didn't match the legendary archer's appearance. Robin smiled slyly. Despite the disguises, I maintained my composure. When it was my turn, I drew my bow and released the arrow with precision, hitting the very center of the target and even clipping a feather from another arrow. The crowd gasped in amazement, unaware of my true identity. The sheriff, in his frustration, offered me a place in his guard, praising my unparalleled archery skills. I declined firmly, stating that no man in Merry England would ever serve under him. Enraged, the sheriff ordered me to leave, and I retreated swiftly with my men, celebrating our victory around the fire in Sherwood Forest. Robin paused, his eyes gleaming with pride. Shortly after, my friend Little John informed me that the sheriff had been spreading lies, claiming Robin Hood was too cowardly to compete. Determined to clear my name, Little John orchestrated a plan. While the sheriff dined with his guests, a blunted arrow flew through his window, attached to a scroll. Upon reading it, the sheriff discovered a verse declaring the award was rightfully given to Merry Robin Hood. This public declaration exposed his deceit, and the sheriff was left speechless, unable to refute the truth. Both men laughed heartily at the memory, their camaraderie evident. And so, the legend of Robin Hood continues to grow, inspiring us all to stand against injustice and fight for what is right in Sherwood Forest. As the evening progressed, the bonfire's flames flickered higher, casting dancing shadows around the clearing. The music shifted to a gentle ballad, and the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, their light reflected in the serene waters of the nearby river. The festive atmosphere softened, transitioning from lively celebration to a more romantic and contemplative ambiance. Noticing that Tuck had wandered off, you rose from your seat, feeling a sense of contentment wash over you. The scene before you was nothing short of magical, a hidden glen alive with the spirit of camaraderie and joy. The children who had previously darted through the festivities had been quietly tucked into their beds, dreaming sweetly beneath thatched cottage roofs and cozy tents. Meanwhile, the men and women of Robin's merry company continued to dance, their movements graceful and fluid under the glow of fireflies that drifted like floating sparks among them. Alan, the young musician, had relinquished his duties and now swayed happily in the shadows of the firelight with his beloved Eleanor. They shared smiles that spoke of a love reaffirmed, their eyes reflecting the warmth of the bonfire. The remaining musicians kept the mood alive, their instruments adding layers of melody to the tranquil evening. The drummer gently beat time on his drum, while the flutist's soft piping created a soothing harmony that blended seamlessly with the natural sounds of the forest. Just as you found yourself drawn into the enchanting lullaby of the woods, you felt a light tap on your shoulder. Turning around, you saw one of the kind-hearted women from the fireside standing behind you, a warm smile gracing her face. "It's no good venturing into the woods alone at night," she said kindly. "Would you like to borrow a bed for the night?" Grateful for her generosity, you accepted her offer without hesitation. As the other revelers began to retire, seeking rest after a day of joyous celebration, you followed your hostess around the edge of the glen and down a moonlit path that wound deeper into the trees. She led you to a charming little treehouse, nestled snugly within the sturdy branches of an ancient oak. The structure was simple yet inviting, a perfect nook, elevated above the ground to provide both security and shelter, while remaining completely concealed by the surrounding foliage. "There's a cozy bed up here," she explained, pointing to the makeshift platform. "Let me know if you need anything else." With a friendly pat on your shoulder, she departed into the shadows, leaving you to settle into your temporary sanctuary. Climbing the 5 or 6 rungs of the makeshift stairs, you found yourself on the clever platform. As promised, a fresh pallet awaited, stuffed with sweet-smelling straw and topped with soft brown blankets. You lay down on your back, gazing upward. The branches of the towering trees encircled you, framing a private window to the night sky. Countless stars twinkled brilliantly, each one a tiny pinprick of light embedded in an infinite expanse of midnight blue. It felt as though they were guardians watching over you, their presence both comforting and awe-inspiring. Your mind drifted as you pondered the vastness of the surrounding woods, the gentle hoot of an owl echoing softly from somewhere nearby. The melody of the flute continued to whisper through the trees, blending with the serene sounds of nocturnal life. The dancers' movements had slowed to a sedate rhythm, their energy now a quiet harmony with the tranquil evening. The heavens above, a tapestry of stars, witnessed the perfect conclusion to your fairy tale journey. In the comforting embrace of Sherwood Forest, you drifted into a peaceful slumber, the magic of the day lingering in your dreams. You were enveloped by the sheltering arms of the ancient woods, and as you closed your eyes, you knew you were at the perfect end of a fairy tale. As dawn broke over Thrace, Hercules awoke to the soft chirping of birds and the gentle rustling of leaves stirred by the morning breeze. The treehouse was quiet, the night's festivities having settled into a serene calm. Hercules dismounted from Ianthi, feeling refreshed and ready to continue his quest. The wild horses of Diomedes had been secured, their spirits now tethered to his mission to bring them to the king. With renewed determination, Hercules led Ianthi out of the forest, retracing his steps through the moonlit woods. The path was familiar now, each step echoing the memories of his childhood adventures. As they emerged from the dense foliage, the coastline greeted them once more, the early morning sun casting a golden glow over the tranquil sea. The journey back would be long, stretching across the vast lands of Thrace and the expansive waters of the Aegean Sea. But Hercules felt a sense of calm, knowing that the wild horses were now under his care. Their majesty and untamed spirit mirrored his own resilience and unwavering dedication to his tasks. As they made their way back to the palace, the sight of Diomedes' grand estate filled Hercules with a sense of accomplishment. The enclosure, once a symbol of untamable wildness, now stood as a testament to his success. The horses, now accustomed to his presence and the gentle encouragement of Ianthi, moved with a newfound grace and obedience. Upon reaching the palace gates, Hercules presented the wild horses to King Eurystheus, who received them with awe and gratitude. The king marveled at their beauty and strength, recognizing the significance of their successful capture. "Hercules," he proclaimed, "you have once again proven your unparalleled strength and wisdom. These horses will bring honor and prestige to our kingdom." Hercules bowed respectfully, the bond between man and horse evident in their harmonious presence. "It was my honor to serve, Your Majesty," he replied humbly. "May these noble creatures bring prosperity and joy to our land." With the mission accomplished, Hercules felt a profound sense of fulfillment. The journey had tested his limits and reinforced the unbreakable bond he shared with Ianthi. Together, they had navigated challenges and overcame obstacles, their partnership a beacon of trust and loyalty. As the days turned into weeks, the wild horses adapted to their new environment, thriving under the king's care. They became a symbol of strength and freedom, admired by all who beheld them. Hercules continued to embark on new adventures, each one further cementing his legacy as a hero of unmatched valor and compassion. The memory of that magical night in Sherwood Forest lingered in Hercules's mind, a reminder of the unexpected encounters and the enduring spirit of camaraderie. The music, the dance, and the joyous celebration had left an indelible mark on his heart, inspiring him to carry forward the lessons of trust, friendship, and the unyielding pursuit of justice. In the years that followed, Hercules and Ianthi became legendary figures, their tales of bravery and kindness spreading far and wide. They remained ever vigilant, ready to face new challenges and protect the innocent, their hearts forever bound by the adventures that shaped their destiny. And so, the story of Hercules and the wild horses of Thrace became a cherished chapter in the annals of heroic lore, a testament to the enduring power of courage, loyalty, and the unbreakable bond between man and horse.